Alec Baldwin firearms handling was rusty. Alec Baldwin finally being charged with involuntary manslaughter for the 2021 death of a cast member on the set of the film Rust, set in New Mexico. Now, a lot of y'all may have heard about this or remember it. It's kind of been quiet about it for a little bit of time. One, because prosecutors actually initially, after a while, dropped it and said the investigation will be ongoing. I don't really understand that. Either you drop a case or you don't. But anyway, it's come back up now and he is being charged with involuntary manslaughter. Now, I want to be very clear. I personally don't like Alec Baldwin. I think he's an un-American, anti-gun, anti-freedom Hollywood goofball. That's just what I think he is. However, in peeling back some of this onion of this case, I'm kind of like, I don't know if Alec Baldwin should actually be charged with involuntary manslaughter. Now, some of y'all gonna go, well, Maj, you an anti-gun goofball. You just said it yourself. We gotta maintain our objectivity. And some of the questions that I have surrounding the case, surrounding how this process would go, makes me kind of ask, like, why is Alec Baldwin being charged? So on the set of a movie where there's firearms involved, there's a job of a person called an armorer. An armorer is the person that's responsible for the firearms, right? Meaning when they on set, they dummy rounds, they fake guns, they whatever. I am the armorer. I am responsible for all of the firearms. An actor that doesn't know anything about firearms for the most part is kind of beholden to what this armorer does and hands him the firearm, okay? So in this case, the armorer and or the first assistant director says, here, Alec, here's a gun. Whether at that point, because none of us were there, whether that looks like Alan was playing around with the gun and being a cowboy or whatever, because again, he's an anti-gun goofball that doesn't know the basic firearms rules. That alone, that firearm going through multiple hands and then getting to him, not being the person responsible for it, after being in the hands of other people who are responsible for that specific job. You have one job. I gotta, in all honesty and objectivity, I have to say, I don't know if he's responsible for this. Unless this special prosecution and this grand jury that's decided to charge him, they have access to some information that I'm not aware of, and that information may be they can prove criminal intent. When this story came out, there was a bunch of stories floating around. Oh, they was a few days ago, they were shooting live rounds in the desert offset. Oh, the young lady that was killed was making a documentary on sex trafficking and all of these different things. I have no knowledge of that whatsoever. But I do know that there's been a weird hush-hush energy around this whole scenario. And some of those questions, objectively, we have to ask. Why are all groups of people being charged? And why not one group of people or one person instead of the other? Unless the special prosecution has found something that we aren't privy to, where Alec Baldwin was like kind of going out of his way, being arrogant, being, egregious, playing with, bullets, whatever that is that says, hey, this person went above and beyond and outside of what the armorers did, I don't really see the reason for charging him. If he did, then 100% there. But then the other question, it would be in reverse. If he's being charged because he went out of his way doing the exact opposite of what the armorers and the first directive or assistants or whatever told him to do, why are they being charged? You got to remember that first assistant director is now, he's already been sentenced to 6 months unsupervised probation for his involvement in this because of the plea deal that he took. And I'm pretty sure that plea deal means explain to us exactly what happened. And so it's a little bit gray area in this whole thing. At the end of the day, Alec Baldwin was the person that pulled the trigger. And in pulling that trigger, you in essence are responsible for what rounds come out of that firearm. That's the reality. Now, maybe if Alec Baldwin would have showed up at a Black Guns Matter online course, maybe Alec Baldwin, actually not even maybe, definitely Alec Baldwin would have known the 4 basic rules of firearm safety. He wouldn't have been playing with a firearm. He wouldn't have been pointing at anything he wasn't willing to destroy, or the other rules. That's the reality. Regardless of if you're anti-gun, dislike guns, plan to carry guns, plan to never touch a firearm, regardless of what your current position is as it relates to firearms, you should at least have an understanding of the safety protocol behind firearms. But that's me. Maj is mostly right. Y'all may disagree, communicate, tell me what you think, as well as sign up for a basic firearms class. If you're watching this on Instagram, comment the letters BGM and the link will come directly to you. And if you're on other platforms, it's the link in the bio. Regardless of if you decide to carry a gun or not, regardless, you should be a person that's thinking about the safety components of firearms just like you would with any other tool. My name is Maj Toure. Be safe, be solutionary.